No. Another thing you can leverage is your information and expertise. For those of you that wrote a book, you raise your hand if you wrote a book. Okay. With that book, what are the ways you can leverage it? You can come in a group like this. You can give it away, right? Or you can use it to. You can give it to a client when you meet them to give yourself credibility. There's all sorts of ways you can leverage the information you have. You can also find other people who need the information you have. So, for example, let's say you've created a really great process for, I don't know, running credit cards automatically or something for, for somebody that bills monthly. And you can tighten that process, and then you can find other people that have the need to do the same thing, and you can actually license your knowledge to them. There's some fellow who learned, one of the great stories about this is a fellow who learned, he was in the car wash business, and in car wash they always want to upsell you to the wax and all that kind of stuff, right? And in a hand wash, he developed this amazing process where he could train his people how to upsell. He'd get like 3 times the industry average in upsell to the higher levels of service. That's profitable, yes? So what did he do? He put a name on it, he packaged it, and he went out and he sold it to other licensed the right to use that process to other car wash companies across North America. And surprise, surprise, he made more money doing that than he made from his car wash. Right? That's an example of leverage. And so in going back to my mastermind again, we had a great example of leverage. When I was in the group, one of the things that happened after 4 or 5 months, and this will happen in any mastermind group typically, is that the mastermind group started to get a little flat. If you've ever been in a group that kind of just, the group just kind of, it's blasé. After a while, you don't really want to go the same way. There wasn't as much energy in it. And we were going, okay, there's something missing here. I mean, we're coaches, we're aware, because there's something wrong. How do we fix this? Well, what's the first way you fix anything these days? Google, right? So go on Google, how to add energy to group dynamics and stuff. There was nothing. We couldn't find anything. And finally, one of them had the brilliant idea, said, well, we're coaches. Why don't we figure it out, and then we'll teach it? Is that a good idea? Right? So we figured it out. We went to some people that work with group dynamics and so on. We figured out the processes that will work for a mastermind group to keep them alive and how to make a group really work. We put some structure around it, and we wrote a book. It's called The Magic of the Mastermind. All 9 of us wrote it together. Of course, we hired an author because we had to leverage that too. None of us had the time to write it, so we hired an author to write it for us. And my clicker's falling apart here. There we go. And it was about how to create your own mastermind group, and also, most importantly, how to keep it. No, we're in trouble. How to keep it, and we put the book. I've actually got a copy of it here. I'll to show you how to do this. So here's the book. You can buy it online for. I don't like the way this is going. You can buy it online for $49 US, and we made a deal with each other that nobody would undersell anybody else. So we could all put it on our websites and sell it and make money from it. Yes. So I paid a grand total of $300 to pay for the writer, the author, and she created the whole thing into a PDF, and I contributed my ideas to it, and boom, we've got a product that we can sell. That's good. Yes. That's an example of leveraging your resources. Making sense? Okay. Another thing you can leverage, products and services. You might have a product that somebody else would need elsewhere. Why not spend your time, instead of trying to sell more of your product to your customers, find somebody else who would be able to sell it to their customers who already has a grand, big customer base. And yes, you're going to sell it at a discount, but so what? Assets and locations. So I don't know has anybody ever eat Granola King granola? Are you familiar with that product? A couple of people, okay. Ben the Granola King lives in North Vancouver. He used to be a coaching client of ours. And so he's got this bakery, makes fantastic granola, by the way. Highly recommend Granola King. And but he makes this great granola. But he had this bakery to do it. He only uses it 2 days a week for making granola. And the rest of the time it sat empty. Because he says to me, Andrew, this doesn't make sense. I'm paying for the place to sit empty. So we talked about, how could he find somebody else that would be able to utilize it without, like synergistically, so they wouldn't have to move in and out every week. He found somebody else to come and use the space, kind of sublet the space to use it for their own baking. Guess what? That other person paid his entire rent. So he got his rent for free just from leveraging his asset and location. So those are some examples. Now, you can also get creative about the resources, leveraging the resources of others. So other people's time. Biggest thing you can do, other people's time, you can hire them, yes? You use your money, their time, and you hire somebody, you delegate, whether it be a virtual assistant or an employee or whatever, hiring somebody on a contract to do something so that you don't have to do it. Use other people's time to get what you want done. Second thing is other people's money. How many of you own a house that's not fully paid for? Probably quite a few of you, right? Guess what? You're leveraging the bank's money. And in Vancouver, as the prices go up, as they seem to continue to do, you get a full return on the value of your house, even though the bank just wants their money back with interest. It's actually a pretty good deal, especially if you're in a rising market. So you can leverage other people's money just by loans to get started in your business. Other people's contacts and relationships. How would you do that? You could go out and find somebody else. Well, I just actually mentioned an example of it. You have a product, and you want to find somebody else who's going to sell it to their people. They're going to sell it to their contacts. So you leverage their contacts with your product. They've got hundreds and maybe thousands of customers out there that are looking to buy something from them. They trust that company. They'll bring their customers and contacts to you if you create the right agreement with them. Even things like talk about relationships. The whole power of a celebrity endorsement. Yes? A celebrity endorsement simply comes from people have a relationship with a celebrity. They think they're important. You hire that person to come and speak for you, and next thing you know, you're benefiting, you're leveraging their credibility with your product. So, you guys get the idea? Information and expertise. Other people have, if you have a large database, raise your hand if you've got a database of 3,000 people or more. Anyone? Okay. The question immediately becomes, what do those people need that you're not providing, that they're either buying elsewhere or would benefit them in some way, shape, or form? Then you go out and find somebody who has that, and you sell it to your people. And of course, you purchase at a discount, or you have arranged for them to sell it, and you take a percentage of it. That's all leverage. Your product, other people's products and services, and other people's assets and locations. For example, maybe there's a Greyhound. Greyhound depots are often in a gas station. Yes, they find a gas station that has a little empty space in the big parking lot, and they'll have their Greyhound depot there. They're leveraging the other person owns the building. Got it? This is the most powerful concept. That's why we spent some time on it. Are your heads stirring with some ideas, I hope? Look, you want to identify your own resources and the resources of others, and then just look at all the ways. And I guarantee you, any company that's making big bucks, like all these the multinationals, they are using leverage like crazy. Coca-Cola and Disneyland, McDonald's and who knows, like all of these companies, they do business together over and over. Like they're leveraging each other. That's how they get such a big slice of the pie. Is they make these relationships with each other that are mutually beneficial. You go to some event that the Marriott puts on, and some new water company gives out a bottle of their water to promote it or whatever. Leverage is everywhere. The people that are making big bucks are leveraging. Got it? So, give somebody a high five. Say, I am about to start leveraging everywhere.